I'm excited to see how it'll do. We're going to go ahead, unbox, and let you hear some. That's the set. If you've looked at some of our rehearsal videos, you'll see how it fits in the room. That'll give you an idea. And I've got this set up in the room for you. That's just a Shure Beta SM58 there. That is generally what I use to rehearse with. And honestly, not too far away from how it looks in the room. Throw a body or two in there, but that's generally the distance that it is. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick into this drum a little bit, make some noise with it, let the microphone pick up as it does, and then we'll see what we hear. And I probably should warn you, I'm not a drummer. Killed it! Murdered the track, y'all! So I got a 5.5 foot shield here with what they call living hinges. I think that just means my directions are a little bent. So if I needed those, but they do have a link to a video to show you how to install them. I'm hoping it's mostly just go ahead and just slide that sucker on in, just like this. But I got the living hinge, one, because it's full. So I got a 5.5 foot shield, which means this living hinge, which looks like it's probably a good 5 feet on its own, will keep sound from bleeding from between, which is something you get out the chrome hinges. One of the reasons I'm kind of big on that is I'm in a bedroom. If you're doing anything studio style at your home, you know, you're trying to use whatever space you have available. And so it's a large guest room. Or what was previously used by the previous owner is a large guest room, you know. So we have the standard ceilings, you know. It's 8. Keep my finger right. It's 8 feet top to bottom. So what's happening is, while some of the kick isn't as bad, sometimes it can be bad, but it isn't as bad. But what's happening is you have this high end, because not only was this a guest room, but it's almost a perfect square. It's something like, let's say if it's 22 feet by 20 or something. I don't remember the exact measurements, but it's something like that. So you almost have that perfect square, which of course acoustically is the worst shape you can have, because then your sound's just ping-ponging everywhere. And so you'll see, if it's one of these days, I don't know if you can see it. Actually, I'm looking up there on the screen. You can't see it. So I'll show you. I'll take you on a video tour in the future. But I have some clouds up here to kind of adjust some of the sound and get some of that bounce. And I have to add a couple more. And you can see these acoustic treatments back here. I have a bass panel over there. I have another bass panel over there. But behind, I have a bookshelf that was already installed here when I got here. And I kind of put some books in there. I'm trying to do a couple of things to make this usable, because not only is it a studio, but it also has to be functional for daytime stuff. It has to be functional for house stuff on some level. So I'm trying to make sure I use it in a certain way. And I remember seeing one producer or music writer, I can't remember her name right now, but she has this bookshelf and she just fills it out with books and old drums. Dang it, I wish I could remember her name, but I'm probably going to steal from that concept a little bit and try to make this both musically, aesthetically pleasing, but also audibly pleasing. But you're trying to use the space that you have. And so if I have this back wall that has some guitars and stuff on it because I have to house my actual instruments somewhere, and this can have some acoustical treatments, and the ceiling can, and then I have another wall over here that has two doors, which they aren't solid core, so I'm doing what I can with what I got. Then I wanted to try and get these 5.5 foot tall shields, hoping that what it will do is kind of encase the sound over in here. Now I know it's going to bounce back out. All y'all audiophile, acoustical engineers, you're going to tell me it's going to bounce, and which it is. One of the things I want to go back and do, but I'm not going to do in this video, is I'm going to add another bass trap back here to try and take care of that sound going all the way up to that corner there, so whatever's coming off of that cymbal isn't bouncing and flying up there and just kicking back out into the microphone. But the high end, and also add some clouds up into the top, right over top the drums. But ultimately, right now, as it is today, the high ends, I have my microphone right here. You can kind of see it in this corner. My microphone usually is maybe a couple inches that way, and there's another mic a couple inches this way, and then with another vocalist coming in, there's going to be a mic right here, and that's just picking up all this high-end sound off of these cymbals. You just heard them a second ago. They were probably piercing a little bit if I didn't turn it down. So you're hearing all this high-end, right? And I'm hoping that by getting 5.5 feet, it cuts it off. If it doesn't cut enough of it off, like I said, I'm going to build another bass trap anyway. I'm just going to build another one because it'd be good to have another one for that corner. I'm also going to add some clouds because it's just be good to have some clouds in that corner. And I'm hoping the 5.5 gives me a big start on that already. If it doesn't, then I'm not against, honestly, doing an old, trying to figure it out and blending the good shield with the old curtain type of thing, because I don't want this room to feel but so enclosed also. Maybe tracking along the top and using a curtain or an old heated blanket, which I used to have that doesn't work anymore. An old heated blanket is so thick, it was wonderful. So I might take that and wrap it or build a track along the top to close in the 2.5 feet from this 5.5 if need be. But for now, we're going to put this 5.5 in, and we're going to see how that works. So in case you can't tell, I quickly learned that the way I was doing it was not going to work too well for me. There's a fan going in the background. I got the windows open. I was getting hot in this piece. So I went to YouTube University real quick, checked something out, made a suggestion to lay them all down on the side. Some of you pros might already know this, but this is my first time setting up a drum shield, honestly, outside of just helping somebody already in the middle of the process at the church. So I'm figuring it out as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it sideways, start peeling off a little bit of the blue, try and figure out a few things, and then we'll see how it happens. Come back to it. So one video suggested rubbing acrylic on these to make it easier to snap this on. Now, it wasn't for this product, and I was worried about it because I know things can make acrylic foggy. So I decided to look online real quick and saw somewhere where it said acrylic will make it foggy, even though that video on YouTube said otherwise. So I'm going to play it safe. I like to check sources and make sure, because you never know what information you're getting from people. So I like to double down and kind of be safe and look around. So rather than double down, speaking of double down, rather than double down and try and put this thing together standing up, which was proving energy taxing for me, and I'm not supposed to be lifting heavy anything. Anyway, I was like, all right, how can I do this in a smarter way? And instead of double down and forcing my way through it, how about I stop and see if I can find some different method? So I have them all laid on the side. I want to put the living hinges on everything on the side. I took the plastic off just about this much on everything on the side, and then I'm going to try and put those on and see what happens. If I'm lucky, we'll come back. This thing is sitting upwards. Alright, we're about to see I either watched the genius give me a great idea. Well, genius is overstated. But I either got a really good idea and came up with something that makes the process easier, or I didn't. I wasn't exactly sure I was doing it right, and because this folds accordion style, probably so you can carry it, I used the sharper edge, the part that folds further to the outside. This should hopefully still allow me to get the kind of crescent moon shape I need. Well, I guess the idea of assembling on the floor helped a lot. I'm gonna rip this blue plastic off, and then we'll make some noise and see what happens. So I left 2 pieces of plastic up here just so you can see, in case you're just wondering how easy it comes off. You can see there's a little blue in there. That's my fault, since I don't like to pull this all the way off. Of course, I left some, and when I was snapping this in, I left a little. So I'll have to actually go back, probably lay this on the side and take this piece off. But for the sake of it, we'll go ahead and pull this off so you can see. As you can see, it's easy to come off. As you can also see, it's relatively clear, except for seeing reflections of my light right there. Whoop. And my TV right there, that XFL on. You kind of don't know what's in here. And so when I first started to use this room, I considered buying a full out, or making a full out drum booth in the side. And one of the reasons I didn't do that was because I just didn't want it to take up so much space in the room, which, as you notice, a big drum shield still takes up a lot of space in the room. But the wonderful joy is this is accordion style, so if it ever becomes annoying to me, I could take this, fold it up, and just have some 5'5" panels sitting over there on the wall. Now, the truth of the matter is, we don't know if this sounds any good. So let me turn down this TV a little bit, and let me make some noise and see what happens. You heard it through the mic's camera, the camera's mic. I forgot to hit record over here in sound in the audio box on my Tascam. More noise it is! I'll let you find out for your own. Maybe if I'm lucky, it means I can start banging on these things and my wife won't mind.